Calling to order the regular meeting of the Wheeling Plan Commission for Wednesday, October 13th, 2021. Please stand for the pledge. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Commissioner Belanova is absent with previous notice. Commissioner Berkey.
Here.
Commissioner Sprague is here. Commissioner Yednak.
Present.
Commissioner Heiken.
Here.
Commissioner Riles.
Here.
Chairman Johnson.
Here. Ms. Nyes, any changes to the agenda?
No changes.
Citizen concerns and comments? I don't believe we have any.
Nope.
Okay. And we have no consent items, so we're moving right along to items for review. Docket number 2021-37, special use for recreation and instruction facility large for the strike zone at 111 Marquardt Drive. Mr. Secretary.
The strike zone, leasee, is seeking a special use as required in Title 19 zoning of the Wheeling Municipal Code, Chapter 19-07, Industrial Districts, Chapter 19-10, Use Regulations and Associated Sections, in order to permit a recreation and instruction facility, large, located at 111 Marquardt Drive, Unit B, which is zoned I3 General Industrial. A special use as defined in the zoning code is a use of parcel of land that requires review and consideration before approval due to the potential for negative impacts on the surrounding properties. In order to be considered for a special use, the petitioner is required to demonstrate through testimony to the Plan Commission at a public hearing that the request meets the standards of the village code, including but not limited to how the proposed use will not damage the enjoyment or use of the surrounding properties. Prior to the public hearing, the petitioner provides written statements meant to show that their request meets the standards for special use as established in Title 19. The Commission chairperson will typically direct that these statements be entered into the record without a full reading of them at the hearing. Based upon the testimony and supporting materials submitted, the Plan Commission will make findings in support of or against the petitioner's testimony and report those findings to the Village Board.
Thank you. Ms. Nyes, anything?
Yes. So the petitioner, Strike Zone, they are a baseball and softball academy, and they would like to do a recreation and instruction facility. And they have about 4 full-time instructors and 8 to 12 part-time instructors. And they're looking to have about 36 students and about 12 employees at their peak time. So this would throw them into the large category because the small category is limited to 12 people maximum, as we know. We've seen this before. So that requires a special use, which is why they're here today. I just wanted to go over a couple things. They're doing one-on-one lessons, camps, summer programs, cage rentals, team rentals. Their hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. and on the weekends. So that's kind of the opposite of when the other building occupant would be there, although the other side of the building is currently vacant. So the parking shouldn't be a problem, even though you see in my parking table, if both sides of the building were occupied, it would look like they were short parking, but they're not operating at the same time. And again, the other side of the building is not occupied. One thing we do need to clear up with the petitioner when you come up is if this is Unit A or Unit B. And just here's some pictures.
What was your last thing that you said to clarify?
So my question here is if it's Unit A or Unit B, based on the floor plan, it looks like you're Unit A, but the application we had Unit B. So I think you can come on up and he'll swear you in. And
Yes, this is a public hearing, so I need to swear you in. Raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're giving tonight to be the truth?
Yes, sir.
State your name and business address for the record.
My name is John Fix, and our current business address is 2025 Johns Drive in Glenview.
Okay.
We are Unit B.
Your Unit B, so you are actually, that's the that's the 105 address then.
It's the same, my understanding is it's the same address.
No, there's
Oh,
two
it's just-
addresses on the doors in that building. There's a 111 and a 105.
Okay.
And 111 is the one on the left. Do you have a picture of the?
Yeah, so when you're looking at it, are you on the left or on the right?
We are on the right. I'm 100% positive.
You are on the right, okay.
Yes.
So you are Unit B?
Yes. Unit B is roughly 21,000 square feet, and I believe Unit A is like 28,000 or 29,000
Okay.
square feet.
So that would be
So-
105 then.
So, yeah, because I don't have the plat on here. Okay, so we'll clarify the exact address.
Sorry,
Because,
if I made a mistake, I apologize if I made a
That's okay.
mistake. So,
No, I think that was at our end.
well, no, when you applied as 111,
I didn't know there was two different addresses there.
maybe, Robert, do you know the addressing that you?
I believe it is 105 on the west side of the property.
Okay. Okay, so we'll need to, I'll work with you, we'll change that to 105.
Okay,
We'll have to clean up the paperwork on
Okay,
that.
okay.
it's fine, as before it goes to the village board, we can get that cleaned up.
Okay.
Thank you.
So it is actually Unit B, so then this drawing is
So I
incorrect.
had it right the first time,
Yeah, you had it right the first time.
so I did, change it, so I apologize. Okay.
Do we need to make a correction in what I read then? I read 111.
No, because that was what the public notice was.
Okay.
As far as the technicalities here, the building is the same, so the same people would have received notice.
Right.
And the use was clearly described, so because they're part of the same building, I'm not concerned.
But we just have to make sure. all
Obviously, the
gets
ordinance
cleaned
and
up.
everything that goes to the board is the correct one, and the pins and
Yeah,
recorded against the correct property and everything.
you don't want to, you don't want to pay taxes on both, so.
Not yet.
Okay, so,
I'll just give you a little background on
Yes,
who we
please.
are and what we do. We are the Strike Zone Baseball and Softball Academy. I started my business in 1997 in Wilmette, Illinois, and then we moved to Glenview, and we've been in Glenview since 2000. We are the largest and oldest baseball, softball training facility in the north side of Chicago. We currently, as I said, currently operate in Glenview in a 10,000 square foot facility, but we've outgrown that. Our numbers are going through the roof right now, and for a variety of reasons, but that's the reason why we're moving, is we need a bigger facility. So our primary business is one-on-one instruction, but we've expanded, as Marcy explained, we've expanded into team rentals, cage rentals, camps, summer camps, fall baseball programs. So we're going 12 months out of the year. But our primary business is still one-on-one instruction. That's pretty much what we do, and we've been in business, like I said, since '97. Knock on wood, we've had no problems and continue to grow.
sounds good. This being a public hearing, is there anyone from the public that would like to comment on this particular item? And I see no one. So we'll go right to the commission. Commissioner Heiken, let's start down there.
Well, thank you for coming to Wheeling. It's a great concept. I just have one silly question. Are you planning on putting the sign up on the outside of the building?
Yes,
Okay.
and I believe we have to get special permits for that.
Yeah.
Right, but yes.
And then is there any plans for the parking lot to be resurfaced?
That I don't know.
Okay.
One question I did have for the board, there's no issue if we put indoor turf or batting cages. I mean, obviously, we're going to do a build-out on the inside, but there's no issue if we do that, right?
That wouldn't be for us, that would be
Right.
part of permitting, which,
Okay.
That's all I have. Thank you.
thank you. Commissioner Berkey.
Commissioner Heiken actually stole my question about the parking lot, but yeah, that was a curiosity I had about the parking lot. It does look a little bit worn. Other than that, really excited to see the baseball academy coming to Wheeling. If there's one thing Wheeling doesn't have right now is a baseball academy, so welcome.
I believe there's two other facilities in Wheeling right now,
Oh, I wasn't aware.
but they're much smaller. They're like 4,000 or 5,000 square feet, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I looked at your academy online. It's a good program, so looking forward to that. That's all I have.
Commissioner Yednek.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I said at a prior meeting, Wheeling is going to be the healthiest village in the area. We've been reviewing a lot of exercise facilities and training facilities. Parking lot, I know that you're leasing, so that's not really in your purview, but are you planning on doing any different access, or will your clients come around from the front? There's two front entrances, so they'll park in the garage and come around, or are you going to open up any side doors or anything like that?
Well, there is a loading dock, but we won't have people come in through the loading dock in the front of the building. All of our people coming through the front of the building.
All right, and I was going to ask about the loading dock. Are you planning on doing anything like that, closing it down and utilizing that facility?
Well, yes, we may put a pitching lane in there or something, but that's down the road. We don't have initial plans for that right now.
Okay, and you would have to work that out, I'm guessing, with the landlord or whatever, try to figure out.
Correct.
If you're going to close it up. That's all I have, and thanks also for considering Wheeling, then. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome to Wheeling. As long as there's no conflict with that, you don't feel there's any conflict with that parking at all?
No, I believe we have 64 spaces designated for our spot, for Unit B. That's way more than enough parking for the number of people we'll have in the building. Yeah, I don't see any issues with the parking.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Riles.
I just want to add, welcome to Wheeling. Thank you for the services, what you're looking to provide here. I think it's personally very well needed. It's a great direction, and I just appreciate you entertaining the village of Wheeling. Thank you.
All right.
I'm just going to add one more, if I can add one more comment. I've dealt with Northfield, Wilmette, Winnetka, all these different communities over the last 20-some-odd years. There's nobody better than she is right here. She's a pleasure to work with. That's the truth.
We don't control her salary, but
I hope the
What's that?
director is watching.
we don't control her salary.
She was absolutely fantastic to work with in this process, so.
Well, thank you for the positive comments. Thank you for coming to Wheeling. The only issue I had was clarification on the address. So unless there's any other questions from the commission, Marcy?
I just wanted to, while we were talking about the parking, in general, if someone's leasing the facility, we don't really make them do anything with the parking lot, but when the project comes through for a business license, our department goes out, property maintenance goes out and looks at it, and so if there's a problem with the parking lot then, property maintenance will contact the property owner, and they'll address any issues with the parking lot at that time. So it will get looked at. Just want to let you guys know.
All right, thank you.
Just one other question, I'm sorry. I don't know how it applies, but my question is, baseball for the kids moving up and softball. The question is, 12-inch or 16-inch or both?
Did you say 12-inch or 16-inch?
Yeah.
We don't do any fast pitch softball. I mean, we just do girls softball, not adult. You're talking about adult leagues, right? 12-inch or?
Well, I mean, they're playing 12-inch or 16-inch softball and, the schools also.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we do this. I think it's 12-inch for the girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a clarification is all.
Okay.
Any other questions from the commission? If not, I would entertain are there any conditions?
No conditions.
Okay, I would entertain a motion then.
So moved.
Second.
It's Commissioner Heiken motioned and Commissioner Yednek second.
Correct.
Commissioner Heiken,
Yes.
Commissioner Yednek,
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Riles,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. Welcome.
So you will, lost my note. Well, you will be going to the village board, I believe, on November 1st. So I'll contact you about that, and you don't need to stay through the meeting. Feel free to leave. Okay, thank you. I'll be in touch.
And then we need a motion to close 2021-37.
So moved.
Second.
Robert, was that you?
Nope,
Oh,
I was quiet this time.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Yadnak?
Yes.
Commissioner Riles?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
yes. All right, next up, we have docket number PC 21-21, minor site plan and building appearance approval for Stasek Chevrolet, 700 West Dundee. Ms. Nyes.
Yes, so they are here today for minor site plan and building appearance approval. They are doing, there's new ownership, and they have a lot of improvements they want to make on the site. So they are first here to, let me show you, for lighting improvements. And since you got your packet, there was a revised lighting plan, which is shown here, which you're not going to be able to tell the difference. There were some light poles just slightly adjusted, nothing major. So staff is fine with this lighting plan. And then they also would like building appearance approval to paint the brick portions of the building white, which if you drove by, you will have noticed that it has already been completed.
Yes. Come on up. It's your turn.
Hi, everybody. I'm John Guido, originally from Arlington Heights Ford, but I'm now part of the Task Automotive Group. We recently
Remember you from there.
Yep. So recently acquired Sullivan Pontiac Buick GMC. It's now AH Arlington Heights Buick GMC Hummer, and we recently bought the Bill Stasek Chevrolet dealership. Task Automotive Group's out of Rhode Island, large automotive group. We're stores 2021, 22 for them. Oldest Ford family in the business. They spend a lot of money on facility. They believe the customer first, but they believe the facility is extremely important to bring traffic to the building. So we were excited about getting this location because, as you can see, there's a lot of traffic that goes through there. So we're looking to do a lot of enhancements. The painting of the building, I honestly didn't know that we needed a permit to finish a portion of the building because some of it was painted, and when we did our Ford store, we didn't need to do that because a portion of it was painted. So I apologize about getting that in late, but we did use the exact same colors that Chevy and the board approved the last time to just go around the rest of it, freshen it up. There's some tuck pointing that I still need to do, but that's already been done. Hopefully you'll be happy with the color. I think somebody needs to go over there and take a look at it and approve it, is what I was told. I'm not really sure, but I hope you like it because it's up for now, and I'll redo it in the spring if it's not something that the board is acceptable with. But I think it looks great. We have a plan to do garage doors and asphalt and all that stuff. But the lighting scheme that you see here, the only adjustment that we made was to give us actually a better drive lane through. And I know that they've been working diligently with your people on the planning committee to make sure that we have enough light, the right size poles. We actually brought our paving and concrete people with us because there's quite a bit of trench work that needs to be done. The used car building was demolished, as you've seen. I think that gives it a better look just in itself. But there's going to be a lot of things going on. I'll be back here with permits for new glass and doing the interior and putting in a new patio and all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be great for the Village of Wheeling and hopefully bring more customers into a good business and help it grow.
Okay. I was looking up the record on this painting thing. It's exactly 10 years to this date that Stasek came here.
Okay.
And basically was denied the painting concept. And
the building was painted, though. There's a portion of
a small portion near the
on both sides,
showroom, yeah.
Okay.
That was in the notes that was approved. But
Did not know that. That was obviously wasn't disclosed to us at all during closing.
okay, well, let's see. Let's start with Commissioner Riles.
The painting was kind of, intriguing for me, and I understand you said you didn't really think that it was a problem to move forward on it. based on past experience, more or less, correct?
Correct, yeah, but we didn't need to do it with the village of Arlington Heights. When we had talked to them about it, they said, no, a portion of it was painted, and if we wanted to finish the rest of the project, to go ahead and do it. I didn't even need to get a permit. No one came out, no one asked us for colors.
But that was Arlington Heights, right?
Again, I didn't know that Wheeling was any different, so when I just continued a project that was already partially done, we thought it was obvious that the rest of the building needed to be painted.
Well, I just think that, in a situation like that, obviously, if it's worked, in a previous area, it's better to, find out for certain before moving forward.
Agreed, and quite honestly, at the last village meeting that I was at, they asked for a sneak peek of some of the things that we were doing. I was only there for a grant that we were working on for a sidewalk that we're going to add to the front of it. And I told them that we were going to be painting the building and doing glass and doing this and doing that, and at no point did anyone stop me, and quite honestly, I just didn't know.
Okay. That's the only concern and question that I have. I just think that it's important to, dot the i's and cross the t's and double check, because everybody wants to be, on the same page, moving forward, to make sure there's no cracks or holes anywhere. So that was the only concern that I had.
Understood. And obviously going forward, we'll make sure that there's...
Sure. I mean, it's important.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, you can't, in my opinion, you can't just speculate or guess. One town, approved it and said it was okay, so we can go to another town and, based on what that town approved and clarified, it's okay to do it in another town. It's important, to make sure that you're on the same page, not only in this situation, but of course, throughout the duration and moving forward.
Understood.
So that's the only question and concern that I have.
Got it. I apologize about that.
Thank you. Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Getzelman, the light spillage that onto Dundee and McHenry Road, is that all meet the requirements?
I don't know that necessarily needs IDOT approval. I think they tried to limit to the best of their ability the spillage off of their property line in that particular area. The village has streetlights on Dundee Road in that corridor anyways, so I don't have any reason to believe that these would overpower those. If you look at that diagram up there, it looks like most of it kind of stops short at the property line.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they are considered front line lights, which are directional for that specific purpose. So the fixtures that'll be up front and all the way around McHenry will be the same.
Okay. You don't know by chance how it compares to the old lighting as far as the brightness?
The difference in wattage? No, quite honestly, someone from BA Lighting was supposed to be here. The young lady, well, the young lady was supposed to be here from BA Lighting, wasn't able to make it today. She had a family emergency. So what we have is what was given to you guys. But I do have some people here from the electricians that might be able to give us some information that would help.
My main concern is that it's not any brighter than it is now shining out into the roadways, that's all.
Understood. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not the person to answer that question. I do know that they're directional and that they've been working with the village and several renderings of how this is going to work based on wattage and height and everything else.
Okay.
You're done. Sorry, I did forget to mention that they do exceed the light levels, and so the village board can approve them to exceed the minimum light levels, so this will have to go to the village board for approval. It's not a special use or a variance or anything, but we've done this before where it gets kicked up to the board for that approval.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Commissioner Yednick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was going to ask about the lighting, just because I see these light plans all the time, and I don't really understand how to read them, but I'll have to do my own lighting plan 101 research. I did want to thank you for staying in the village. There's a lot of vacant car dealerships up down Dundee, and I'm glad you're coming to clean that one up. The painting, it didn't strike me as an issue, but I was just curious, which surfaces you're painting then? I went and looked at Google Streets now, right? Most of the building is natural brick except for the front. the front facing? Are you repainting the front facing?
So basically the service and body shop all the way around was original exposed brick. However, the sides of the building that had brick on it, that was painted the same color as the top. So we just continued that color all the way around the building. So again, all the way around, it's painted the same color white, all the poles are painted.
So you're painting the brick?
All the brick is painted, yes, sir.
Oh, because, well, then I guess Google Street View is old. 'Cause it shows natural brick on there. then.
Well,
We just painted it the
No,
other
we just
day.
painted it.
Yeah, it's very recent.
We just, literally this
Okay,
week, we just
so
painted
it
it.
was not painted before? you
Correct.
painted it now? Oh, yeah, I really would have preferred the natural brick. Yeah, because that, maybe just, power washed it or something. What's the thought behind painting the brick then?
Well, if you look at most of the stores nowadays, they're the same look all the way around. It gives it a larger, fresher, cleaner appearance. We went with the same colors that Chevrolet designs for all of their new facilities. So again, this was just following what Chevy does at all the other brand-new stores to try and freshen this one up without having a brand-new store.
Okay, yeah, I guess it's your shop.
When you drive past it and take a look at it, I think you'll agree that it definitely improved the
I'll
appearance.
take a look in person, but I'll vote it tonight. Yeah, I don't have a huge objection. I thought that you were just cleaning up the front facing where I saw what was painted now, so. And that was all I had then. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Berkey?
I was curious, maybe Marcy could answer, is there a way we'd be able to find out the lighting plan we have now that they're putting before us, how that compares with the amount of light that's, in the existing dealership?
That's something the petitioner would have to
They
provide.
have to, okay.
Yeah, I believe BA Lighting has been sending over all of the,
I think Commissioner Berkey is asking for a comparison of
Comparison.
existing versus proposed,
Right.
like
Got
what
it.
the light level differences are.
well, they would have that in the comment assessment, which they had to obviously provide to show us the discount. So that was all sent over as well. I'm not sure who it was
We
sent
just
over
have
to.
the lighting plan, this is what we have, that just shows what's proposed.
I don't think they sent them as built.
No, we don't have anything that shows like a comparison of what it is now and what it will be. We just have what it will look like.
I can get that for you.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, looking at it, it looks fine. It's not gonna, bleed much into the other areas, but that'd be good just to have a comparison.
Yeah, the company that actually did the lights for the Village of Wheeling is doing our lights for the dealership, so he's already had multiple conversations with your people. In fact, the lights are so bright on the street that we don't have any lights currently since we took the used car building down, and you're lighting our front 2 rows, so thank you.
Okay. All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Commissioner Heiken?
Most of my questions have already been asked and answered. I do have one comment. On your photos in your presentation, you have existing light poles along Lake Cook Road. That's the third.
Those are
picture.
mine photos.
Oh, those are yours, okay.
Uh-oh.
All right. That's all I have, thank you.
You mean Dundee? It's been a long week.
Okay, you're up.
Sorry.
All right. I don't see a problem with the lights. Of course, with that bright white building, it's going to be even brighter in that parking lot.
That corner's going to look great by the time we're done with it.
Yeah, 10 years ago when Stasek came, it was because Chevrolet told him that the building should be painted. He really didn't want to do it, and he was glad that we shot that part down. But so be it.
Got it.
The new lighting, is that all LED now?
It is. It is.
That's not what it is right now, though, right?
It isn't. It currently is not. All
Okay.
halogen.
Any other questions from the commission? Seeing none? Marcy, are there any conditions?
There are no conditions.
All right, then I would entertain a motion to approve 2121.
So moved.
Second.
got
That
it?
was Commissioner Yednek and
Berkey, I think.
Berkey.
Commissioner Yednek,
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Heiken,
Yes.
Commissioner Riles,
Yes?
Chairman Johnson.
Yes.
So this will need to get final approval for the lighting at the village board.
Okay.
And that will go to the village board on November 1st.
Okay,
So I'll contact you before that with the
Great.
information.
thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Coming in town.
All right, next on the agenda is 2021-38. Special use for packaged liquor sales, Beerman US, 102 East Dundee Road. I believe this was going to be continued.
Yes. Yeah, and we want to confirm,
Did we have somebody from the public?
okay.
Is this a petitioner or?
I don't know. Are you the petitioner? Are you the petitioner? Yeah. Okay. So you might want.
Okay, so the plan for this one is, we're going to be continuing this to a date certain. There were some issues with the public notices that went out. Some of the address labels had fallen off with the USPS and were returned to us, and it was of a number that we wanted to make sure that there was proper public notice. So we're going to continue it to a date certain. For that reason, the new notices have been already sent out, and that way we don't have to republish in the paper. So this one's being continued to
October 27th.
October 27th, so we need a motion to continue to October 27th.
So moved.
Commissioner Yednek?
Second. Was there a second already?
Was there a second? Heiken.
Yeah, Commissioner Heiken.
Commissioner Yednek,
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken,
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey,
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes, Commissioner Riles,
Yes?
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. All right. Do you need to know anything else?
Okay, so you'll return on October 27th, and it'll be continued at that time. Okay, I'll talk to you before then, though. Yes.
Yep. All right. Next up, we have a couple items for the Union Apartments. We have 2021-41, final plan unit development for Union Apartments at 231 Wheeling Road. Ms. Nyes.
Okay, so here tonight, we have Union Apartments, two representatives from General Capital Group, here to get the final planned unit development, and the next docket is going to be the final plat for a 53-unit multifamily residential development. So I'll go through the final PUD items, and then we'll let the petitioner do their thing. So if you remember, they came through for preliminary PUD approval. They were here on June 23rd of this year, and they received preliminary PUD approval by the village board on July 19th, subject to 6 conditions, and I will address those in a minute. And they do have 4 items that they're requesting code relief from. But overall, the petitioner has submitted these final PUD plans, which are in conformance with the approved preliminary PUD plans. So the 4 items that they're requesting code relief from are 1, to reduce the parking stall length to 18 feet, 2, to reduce the drive aisle width to 24 feet, 3, to increase the building height to 57 feet 6 inches and 4 stories, and number 4, to reduce the required parking by 2 parking spaces. And where are my 6 items? Oh, the 6 items that we had brought up at the Plan Commission meeting were We had asked for all residential access points to have an awning, and they've added awnings at all those access doors. We had asked for the same standing seam metal roof on the primary building to be used on the carport roofs, and they have included that. We asked for...
But you made a note on that one that there was a conflict?
Yes, that's in our, we have that also in our conditions. So I'll address that too. The roof parapet, we wanted screening all the mechanical units, and they have sufficiently screened those. Number 4, we were looking for details on the retaining wall and the fence. Those were added in the site accessories booklet, and I have pictures of those. Number 5, we asked for final details of the sculptural element, and we did receive those. We're going to be looking at that as a ground sign, but we're not actually approving the ground sign tonight. That'll come back. That's my understanding, that they didn't want approval at this time. So those were the 6 items, and then there was a couple different items that we had wanted the commission to address, and that related to the conditions that staff had come up with. So there were 5 conditions, and they relate to the street lights, the decorative lights, the carport lighting, and the Wheeling Road sidewalk. So the street lights, the village staff during the preliminary PUD had requested that the petitioner install street lights along the east side of Wheeling Road. There are no street lights currently along Wheeling Road in this section, and they're going to match the village standard. But what's the deal here? They're going to add this to the final PUD plans prior to the village board action. They're currently not on the plans. So that was one item. The decorative light poles. So there's 18 light poles in the project. Not talking about the street lights, we're talking about just the decorative, just the light poles in the development. Staff thought that they should be more decorative. Maybe I could just skip to that picture. And then we can, after questions, we can, after everything, we can take these items one at a time. Here we go. So they had some pictures of their lighting, and it's my understanding this one that's decorative looking here is not the one that's proposed. It was these on the left side, and they had provided some specifications as well. These here for the parking lot. We felt something more characteristic of a residential development should be installed, and we wanted the Plan Commission to consider if this was sufficient, or if you'd like to see something more residential looking. We did have a question about the wall-mounted carport lighting. So in the carport, oops, on the right side here, these long lights go under the carport, obviously, but then in the front of the carports, they're proposing these wall lights. And we just wanted the Plan Commission to consider if maybe there's more appropriate lighting, such as additional light poles that could create sufficient lighting in the area instead of using the wall lights on the front of the carport. And the last item was the Wheeling Road sidewalk. So the petitioner has agreed to install a public sidewalk along the east side of Wheeling Road where no sidewalk is present, but because there's going to be a phase 1 engineering study to determine roadway improvements, there's no point in them putting the sidewalk in at this point. So the petitioner is going to provide payment in lieu of installing the sidewalk, and they'll be working with the engineering division prior to permit issuance for that. So our five conditions of approval were that the first one was that the full detail sheet in the carport, and if anyone has questions, I have all the pictures I can go to. The full detail for the carport in the site accessory booklet shall be revised to be a standing seam roof deck to match the building prior to site grading permit. So right now, the detail sheet shows something else, but there's a footnote at the very bottom that says this should really be a standing seam roof. So we just want it to be obvious that it should be a standing seam roof, so we want that detail fixed. The second one is a more decorative light pole fixture befitting the residential character of the multifamily residential development shall be selected prior to village board review of the final PUD plans. Number 3, the KAXW light fixtures mounted to the front or face of the carport shall be replaced with alternative lighting to achieve desired light levels in this area. That's what I was just referring to with the light poles. Number 4, the photometric lighting plan shall include the street lights along the Wheeling Road Parkway prior to board review of the final PUD plans. And number 5, payment in lieu of installation of the sidewalk along Wheeling Road shall be determined and accepted by the engineering division prior to permit issuance. That's what I got.
All right, well, petitioner can come on up here. And give us your names and business addresses for the record.
Sure. My name's Josh Hafron.
You can take your mask off unless you're uncomfortable. Just so
Sure. Josh Hafron, H-A-F-R-O-N. Business address is 707 Skokie Boulevard in Northbrook.
I'm Jackson Lindsay. My business address is 6938 North Santa Monica Boulevard, Fox Point, Wisconsin.
All right. Do you have anything to add to what Ms. Nyes has talked about, or you want to comment on where we stand on the outstanding items?
Yeah, I'll let Jack, roles here is, I'm deal structure finance guy. Jackson is here to answer more of the construction questions and design questions. If you don't want a kind of preamble about the deal, where we are and what's going on, we can launch right into the questions that Marcy discussed.
Yeah, let's, I think we can go right to those.
Okay.
We've seen the presentation when you first came.
No, yeah, so we didn't want to keep everyone. So Jackson can address any specific questions on the conditions that Marcy outlined.
Looks like the biggest hangup right now is the lighting, right?
Yeah, do you want me to go through these point by point?
Sure.
Okay, so the street lights, I don't think is an issue, putting the street lights on the photometric plan.
Yeah, I understand that we added the lights but didn't change the photometric plan. So
yeah.
we're working on that.
So that we're good.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so I think the two issues are the decorative light poles and the wall-mounted carport lighting.
Sure. The light poles, I did do a little recon. I got here a little early. And the proposed light fixtures are similar to what's over at the one and another newer apartment building. So if there's something different, if you have an example, it'd be great to have.
Well, what's at the one actually is, I just happen to have a picture. Which I.
You just passed.
Sure you do.
No, I do, but I didn't want you to see it at first.
Oh, that one.
So this is what's at the back of the one.
So on the east parking lot, they're the Cobra heads like we have. So those must be on a different parking lot.
This is on the west side.
No, actually, that's the back, because that's the park district behind.
Yeah, that's the park.
Oh, yeah, I was looking at
And that's
the
probably our
south
site
side.
right behind.
Oh, yeah, this is right by your site.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see your site.
No, definitely, we can definitely look at using a fixture like that in lieu of what we proposed.
Okay, well, that's up to the planning
The
commission.
biggest issue for us is to make sure that it's something that isn't gonna bleed light up or around. So if these can be directional enough where we don't have light bleed, then that would satisfy us.
Yeah, and this is, if the plan commission is fine with what's proposed, again, this is just staff throwing it out there.
I'd just be worried about the directionality of the lights, where the heads are easier to keep light from spilling over the property line.
Right, so this is what's proposed, something that's more of just a
Yeah, it's definitely more directional.
Yeah.
All right.
So do you guys want to,
Yeah, we'll see what everyone
Okay.
thinks about it.
and then what about the carport? So are these going to be facing down or facing out?
Those would be facing down. We don't want anything bleeding.
Okay, so it is going to be
around.
facing down?
Yeah, and I'd rather use lights like this instead of adding more pole lighting onto the property. Because this is going to give light where it's needed, and I think, because the issue is the pole lights and the carports can create some shadows. And so these are here to fill in the blanks.
For the drive
Yeah.
area, yeah.
I think someone thought it was going to be out. So maybe that was the issue. Maybe facing down
Yeah,
isn't that bad.
I think facing down would be fine.
Okay.
We can confirm that before.
How high would that be at the carport?
Those carports, I think, depending on which way they're sloping, at least 8 feet high, 9 feet.
Okay. Yeah, and then the sidewalk, the in lieu of constructing it, did anyone
We'll
talk to you
negotiate a
about that?
price and we'll pay you.
Okay. I thought that was something that was talked about.
Well, it might have been with SIG.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we're okay with that.
Okay. So Kyle, you take care of that.
Will do.
We got a
Okay.
thumbs up from engineering, so, okay.
We got a thumbs up over there. And then the only other condition, payment photometrics, it was just swapping out that carport detail.
Yeah, and I know that in the architectural drawings, I think it called it out as being the standing seam to match the roof, but that detail wasn't correct.
Okay.
So we'll get that changed.
Yeah, just so we make sure when the contractor's out there, we just
Yeah.
don't have any issues. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if we could just have
And
everyone's,
say, oh, you didn't look at this note.
Well, it's also part of, we're having the guy do the drawings kind of, because we don't have them under contract because we're not closed on the project.
Oh, okay.
So it's, we're working. We'll
so,
get
yeah,
that.
that covered everything.
Okay. All right, well, let's,
Was there any issue with the payment for the sidewalk before permit, because we have to close on financing? Would you see anything like that?
Prior to permit.
You guys want the payment at the time of the permit?
Well, this would probably be building permit. I mean, you could, and Kyle, maybe.
I would say if certificate of occupancy,
Yeah,
it doesn't necessarily need to be right at permitting. You know, we can condition that to be at the certificate, before certificate of occupancy is issued, that's
that
taken care
sounds
of.
better.
I think we'd rather do that because to close on the financing, we need to have the
Yeah.
building permit on hand. So we'd like to have the money
Alright.
before we start spending it.
Okay,
good plan. All right,
okay, I'll change that one.
Commissioner Yednick.
Oh, I came up quick. Thank you. Thanks for the detailed package. Took me a couple, 2-3 hours to go through everything. There's a lot of detail. I guess one quick question on the fund side is, I like the Union Hotel, I like the historical concept. I was curious, is the big wall-size picture in the lobby, is that, you found a historical picture of the Union Hotel someplace?
That's a historical picture, I believe, from the historical website around here.
Okay, all right. And that's the plan? That's what you're planning on doing then, probably?
Yeah,
I like that. I
that's
like-
just one we could find. If we could find probably a higher res one to use, but we were thinking of using that as a big vinyl wall covering, and that's actually the club room that's off of the main
Oh, okay.
community space. So there's a little kitchenette on the right-hand
Yeah, I
side,
see.
community
Okay.
table and a hearth there.
I just wondered if I get any credit for that. I think I mentioned
I think-
putting up a plaque at the one meeting. It was-
I know the idea-
I don't get credit for too many things, but I think I mentioned it, because I liked the historical idea, so that,
These I call it wall coverings or
it's like a,
wallpaper.
what do you call it, like a wallpaper panorama, yeah.
Wallpaper, they turn out to look fantastic at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, I liked it, I like it. Well, we don't review the inside, but I was happy to see that. I just wanted to take a minute and talk about it. The drive aisle reduction, I guess I was curious, is the fire department okay with that? I saw that you had fire department drawings and everything, but I don't know how to read them. They're very detailed.
Robert?
I think he's sleeping over there. The reduction in the drive aisle to 24 feet, are you okay with that reduction?
Sorry about that. We had turning radiuses, and it still met our needs.
Okay, all right. I saw the drawings, but I don't know how to read them. I'm a big supporter of the light bleed issue, and I would, if I had a vote, I would defer to letting you put up whatever fixtures are going to control the light bleed, because I know in my own condo building, I notice I'm on the top floor, and we do get some spillage even from the parking lot lights. So I would rather you control that light bleed than, and I thought the fixtures you had were not, I didn't think they were out of character. What I did think was a bit out of character, though, when I looked through your, what's the document? I think it's called the, there were a ton of them, the site accessories booklet. The benches, the fence, the trash enclosure, they're all showing like a really bright white. Is that what you're planning on going with? Well, that fence, not that fence, but the benches and the trash enclosure were like a white vinyl, and the benches were white vinyl, where you guys used a lot of really nice earth tones throughout the project and stuff, and I'm hoping that that's not your final color.
The white bench, I believe, is either aluminum or powder coated steel, and that was because we do have white on the project, and we wanted to bring that into the landscape.
Okay, so because like I said, you did a lot of nice earth tones and all the other surfaces, and I was hoping maybe that would be my opinion, but I'm not a designer, you probably know more about it than I do. The bright white just kind of looks bright white. I thought if you had another option, that would just be my suggestion, but it's up to you. I'm not objecting to it completely, and you use nice materials for the trash enclosure and the benches anyway. I did have concerns about the traffic study just because of the pandemic, but it looked like they addressed that. But one thing when I looked at the traffic study, there was one confusing, like a conflict of terms where on page 8 of the traffic study, it says there are no trains crossed during peak AM and PM hours, but then the hours specified in an earlier prior page of the traffic study had the peak commuting hours that met with the current train schedule. So I don't know if you caught that or if it was the trains are coming through in morning hours and rush hour and evening rush hour. So I'm not sure where they were saying that there was no trains crossed during peak hours.
We can take a look at that.
Or what it was addressing. I don't remember if it was because they're saying that the residents can walk across to town center. The trains go by quick anyway. No, I think it had to do with the traffic study, because they were saying.
Is it when they were conducting the traffic study that didn't happen?
No, they were saying that there would during peak traffic times, it wouldn't cause any backup on Hintz or backup on Dundee, because no trains go through during peak hours, but the commuter trains do. Mm-hmm. Maybe what doesn't go through then, okay, that's also a freight line. So the freight line, I know, goes through late at night. Maybe that's what they were referencing. There is some train impact during peak hours, but it's all the commuter trains, not the freight lines. Not a big deal, because I don't think your project is going to cause traffic problems. You're far enough away that by the time they feed into Dundee or feed into Hintz, it'll be dispersed.
We'll look for clarification on that.
Yeah, I think it was the freight lines he might, and maybe, I don't know if it'll come up with the village.
I can speculate that maybe the report was referencing freight trains during commuter hours would cause more backups because
Yeah, it might have been. The traffic study was real long, and I scanned through that one real quick, but I didn't pick that up.
I will take a look.
Other than that, like I said, very nice package. I'm glad you guys are moving this along. I think it's a neat-looking project, and thanks for considering Wheeling then. That's all I have. Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
As far as the lights go, I do kind of lean more towards what Marcy was showing as far as a little more decorative for the parking lot, if you can control it like you want to. Also, I was going to suggest possibly maybe some kind of coach light on the car ports instead of what you were suggesting. or something that may match a different, more decorative light pole?
We do have the electrical engineer looking at alternative lights. And
Okay.
we want to see what would work, so we're investigating that.
All right.
As far as what's on the carport, I would rather just have the smallest light fixture possible to not bring more attention to them, personally.
Okay.
But I do understand that if we could tie it all together, I just don't know how that would actually work in reality.
Well, if you can look into it, like you said, and that's all I can ask for. Thank you. Marcy, did you mention about the spec sheet for the carport roof decks
Yes.
being revised? That was done, or?
Yes.
Okay.
One of the conditions.
That's all the questions I have. Thanks, guys, for excellent packet.
Thank you.
Good luck. That's all I have.
Go down to Commissioner Berkey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a question on the lighting, the lighting details, Hooker, De Jong. Marcy mentioned that there's this one in the middle here. I don't think she has the picture up. It had kind of a pointed top to it. So that is not intended to be part of the plan?
No, and I think what that is the light fixtures themselves aren't necessarily correlated to what is there. I believe that might just be, we're looking at kind of the detail of the actual foundation and where it meets the ground.
Okay.
But yeah, that fixture doesn't exist anyway.
Okay.
That look fixture doesn't exist on the project. Right?
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say that that looks like a more decorative light.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that, if it's not part of the plan, I guess it doesn't matter. But no, that was all I had. I was just curious about that. Thank you.
I feel like this drawing's more technical, that maybe it's a little too alliterative to give you a look of something that it isn't really representing.
Right, okay. Other than that, everything else looks great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Heiken.
Again, thank you for the very comprehensive package. My question is really silly. I just want to clarify. So in the garage, for the ceiling mounted lights, you have the vape light LED. That's not a heated light, that's just an LED.
My understanding is yes, it's just LED.
That's fine. That's all I have, thank you.
Commissioner Riles.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I want to thank you guys for working so well with staff and getting us the things we need, reacting to what we said at our last meeting. It's great to have petitioners that do that. I'm not sure how we're going on the lighting. So I need to take a poll to see if you're okay with what they're proposing, or should they be working with staff? Because we don't have an alternative at this point to vote on.
And my only concern is to find an alternative with the right light levels to get
Exactly.
approved in the next couple of weeks.
And I would even be okay with having one type of light on the backside and something more decorative on the front side, but
That's awesome.
I'm not a lighting designer. I don't pretend to be one. So, I guess I'll just poll the commission and see what everyone's feeling on that. Commissioner Heiken.
I'm okay with what they've proposed.
Commissioner Berkey.
What they've proposed is fine. Thank you.
Commissioner Yednick.
Same here, I'm okay with what they have.
Commissioner Riles.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Thank you.
And Commissioner Sprague.
It really doesn't matter now, does it?
This is your chance to
Well, I was
voice your
leaning
opinion.
towards something a little more visually pleasing.
Okay, and I'm mixed because I could see your point about the bleed over in the backside and something more decorative on the front would be nice.
Put that on a list for us to just.
But continue looking at it and maybe you'll come up with,
I think that we'd like to do that.
okay.
So do I remove that condition,
How's it worded?
So the condition 2 was a more decorative light pole fixture befitting to the residential character of the multifamily residential development shall be selected prior to the village board review of the final PUD plans. So based on that poll, I'm going to delete that.
Yeah.
You would strike the whole thing, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Same with the one after.
Yes. The KAXW light fixtures mounted to the front face of the carport shall be replaced with alternative lighting. I'm deleting that one too.
Good. I know we're not going to do anything with the quote sign right now. Is that the only sign you're planning? Just the sculpture?
I believe that's the reason we're not going for final approval on it, because we think that there might be something at the entrances. There might be directional signage needed
Okay,
that I think we'd like to spend more time to
that's fine.
work on.
I was just wondering if, something else was coming down the road.
No, I would anticipate there'd be another signage element, nothing that monumental sculptural element is the big statement. But I think we want to see what we want to do as far as wayfinding, especially at the entries.
All right. Okay, that's all I had. Any other questions from the commission?
There's just one thing I wanted to ask. You're concerned about with the lighting as far as the directional of it, that's against the building itself that you're putting up?
Well, I know that we're tied to, I don't know if we necessarily have to worry about the railroad tracks as
Right.
much, but I believe that we are tied to staying in our property line.
Mm-hmm.
And without knowing all the light fixtures that are out there, what we can do.
Yeah.
I just know that we figured it out with these,
Oh,
and it
okay.
takes time to
Okay.
work it in. I don't know if those circular ones that were the example, if there's shields that we can do and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
I would be worried about redesigning it and staying within our bounds.
Yeah, because the more I thought about it, you got high lines on one side, railroad on the other, a retention on one side, and a cul-de-sac on the other, so.
But our
There's not
property
much-
lines are our property lines.
Yeah, right.
I also consider bleeding up, though. I'm a big one of the night sky. And
Yeah, there are requirements for that too, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So let's just run through the conditions again real quick.
Okay, number 1, the full detail sheet for the carport in the site accessories booklet shall be revised to a standing seam roof deck to match the building prior to site grading permit approval. Number 2, the photometric lighting plans shall include the street lights along the Wheeling Road Parkway prior to village board review of the final PUD plans. And number 3, payment in lieu of installation of the sidewalk along Wheeling Road shall be determined and accepted by the engineering division prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. So there's only one that needs to be done before the board meeting. Yeah.
Anything from engineering or fire that needs to be brought up?
Nothing from fire.
Nothing from engineering.
Okay. Then I would entertain a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Second.
Berkey and Heiken.
Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Yednak?
yes,
Commissioner Riles?
Yes?
Chairman Johnson?
Yes.
Okay, we're not done yet.
All right. Then we also have docket 2021-42, the final plat for Union Apartments, 231 Wheeling Road. Marcy, anything on this?
No.
You have
I
nothing
don't
to add
have
on
any
this one?
comments either.
Are there any,
For the speech.
any questions from any of the commissioners? I'm not going to go down the line. Nope, okay. Then how about a motion to?
So moved.
Second.
You got it?
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Berkey?
Yes.
Commissioner Yednak?
yes.
Commissioner Heiken?
Yes.
Commissioner Riles?
Yes?
Chairman Johnson?
Yes.
Okay, so we will see you on November 1st at the village board meeting, and I will be in contact with you before then.
Great. And I know that the first gentleman said it, but Marcy has just been a pleasure to work with.
Are you?
And
I
thank you
bribed
everybody
all
else for
these
your-
people.
Thank you to everyone else for your help and your idea for the mural. And
Isn't that easy for us to work
You
with?
didn't have
I
to
don't
credit
understand.
Where's Director Clicker when you need him?
Yeah,
I know. Is this on video?
I hope Ross is watching.
Thank you, good luck.
Marcy has a fan club now.
I know.
Yeah. Okay. Next, we have a couple of public hearings for variations and a major site plan review for Masters Countertops, but they are not here.
Yes. So here's the situation.
Tell us. Tell us.
This has been continued a couple times now, and, we don't need the exact dates, but it's been continued a couple times. They were gonna come back and revise their plans. I had not heard from them for many weeks, but I did hear from them just before the meeting. The petitioner has COVID, and they've requested, a continuance. So I suggest that we continue till at least 11/3, or November 3rd, or November 17th. But Mallory, maybe she can speak on what the options are for you. But I did want to mention that I had talked to them today.
But as we last talked, they hadn't made any
No, there's been
changes
no resubmittal, no anything before 2 o'clock today.
Yeah, so based on that, and given that we actually had communication, I was gonna say if we hadn't had any communication from them even through today, that I'd only recommend continuing it one more time and then letting them know that if we don't have anything or hear anything more from them, then we would just consider this matter we'd table this matter, and whenever they're ready to come back, they can renotice everything. The purpose of continuing it to a date certain is so that anyone who's following along from the original publication date can follow the collection, but obviously the petitioner has to be doing something to further the case along. So I would recommend, at least continuing it now and then communicating that to the petitioner. I would definitely say at least the November 17th date, if not the December 1st date, because no submittals have been made yet, and obviously staff will need time to review it. So we want to give the petitioner a fair chance to actually do a submittal and staff to review.
Has there been any indication that they do want to move forward with this?
Yes, today their attorney did mention that they were going to reduce the rear setback.
Okay.
And I know, Mallory, you need to keep us legal, but we didn't really have anybody come forward from the public before. We didn't have any comments submitted, right? So, is it a little bit more of a formality that we can't deny the public to come forward and hear, but does it matter if we extend a little longer to give them time?
Oh, there's no matter that we've extended a little longer. I'm saying that's why we have to do a date certain. So, given that we've now heard from them and that they intend to submit, I would say we continue it and continue it as long as we keep hearing from them and their indication to pursue it. Just prior to this, Marcia and I hadn't had any communication for.
Well, I was just wondering if something came up and we wanted to continue it
Yeah, you
again.
can continue it again, that'd be fine.
Okay.
I think that would be fine, as long as there is,
I don't think this is a very controversial project from the
No.
public's perspective.
no,
from
it's
the
just
village
more that
perspective.
obviously it keeps being continued and there's.
Okay, got it.
So, Marcy, based on your knowledge of what's coming down the road, where would this best fit into scheduling? I'm thinking further down the road, but
Yeah, further, because staff, planning, fire, engineering, nobody's seen the plan, anything yet. So we definitely need a couple weeks to review it. So even if they gave us something, tomorrow, and then the next two meetings are back to back, probably November 17th would be more appropriate.
I was thinking even December 1st, but
I think we're good with November 17th.
no, we can try it and hopefully.
Do you think they have that's sufficient time for them then?
She did have a plan today,
Okay.
the attorney.
Okay. So, we need a motion on all three items
Yes.
to continue to a date certain of, what was it?
November 17th.
November 17th.
So moved.
On 2021-23A, Commissioner Yednek has moved.
Second.
Commissioner Sprague, second.
Who was that? Sorry.
Sprague. Is this just a voice vote, Mallory?
We've been doing roll call,
Okay.
but you can do voice vote.
Do a roll call.
You can do voice vote if you wanted.
Commissioner Yednak.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Berkey.
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken.
Yes.
Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. All right, motion, the same motion for 2021-23B.
So moved.
Second.
Sprague and Heiken.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Heiken.
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey.
Yes.
Commissioner Yednak.
Yes.
Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. And finally, docket number 2021-27, the major site plan.
So moved.
Second.
Sprague and, Robert, was that you?
I think
It was me.
Martin,
Marty.
quicker, Berkey.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Berkey.
Yes.
Commissioner Yednak.
Yes.
Commissioner Heiken.
Yes.
Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. All right, we kicked those down the road. Approval of minutes of the regular meeting of September 22nd, 2021, including the findings of fact for 2021-33A, 2021-33B, 2021-33C, and 2021-35.
As amended.
As amended. We had a few corrections made. So,
So moved.
Second.
Yednek and Berkey?
Commissioner Yednak.
Yes.
Commissioner Berkey.
Yes.
Commissioner Sprague is a yes. Commissioner Heiken.
Yes.
Commissioner Riles.
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Yes. Other business? Kyle, what's happening on Wolf Road?
Thank you for getting Wolf Road done. Thank you.
What's that?
Thank you for getting it opened.
We're both very happy over here. We can go up and down the street.
Yes, a lot of residents are happy that have now opened it up to one-way in each direction. That is going to be the configuration probably until June of next year. They are going to be doing some work at Strong in Manchester, East Manchester, starting October 25th. So those two roads will be closed for a short period of time. Until the construction season's over, they're going to be doing some storm sewer work, but I wouldn't expect a whole lot of new construction to take place until springtime unless plans change. So this configuration will be the new configuration for the foreseeable future here.
Thank you. Anything happening with the fire department?
No, just looking forward to some new businesses probably moving in the future. That'll probably come across your table here.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Heiken, any other business?
Nothing for me, thanks.
Commissioner Berkey?
Nothing for me, thanks.
Commissioner Yednek?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could I ask a quick question for legal and staff? And I was going to ask this if we reviewed docket 2021-38 for the Beerman US project. I thought if I asked it now, then I can think about it before that comes back in front of us. What are the guidelines to what the Plan Commission can consider in approving or denying a request like that? Is it pretty much that if we have an opinion about the standards for special use, that we don't agree with their answers, or what other guidelines would we want to stay? Because I know sometimes I've been told, well, we got to stay within this framework, we can't necessarily look at colors in all situations or the type of business or something like that. So I was just wondering if you could help me understand that. So when I consider that one, what framework can I work within?
Yeah, so Beerman is only before you for a special use, so you're limited to looking at the use itself, and the standards of a special use, and whether or not you believe the use meets or doesn't meets those standards. Obviously, the petitioner has put forth their evidence as to why they believe they've met the standards. Staff has put forth its statements as to the standards, and then if you had the testimony that you'd be considering or asking is to elicit more information on those standards.
Okay,
And so
so-
if there's evidence in the record that you don't believe it meets
So
the
the question's
standard.
like, will it alter the essential character
Right.
of the area? Like if you're going to put in a retail shop right in the middle of a residential street, would that alter the essential character?
Right,
Kinda-
and obviously,
kinda within
like,
those guidelines? Okay.
Traffic concerns, noise, and, not, all the things that are within the standards of a special use. So that's what you'd be looking at to
Okay.
see whether this use, and then are there any conditions that would mitigate the impact of that use? So there's a lot of times where the use would be okay with conditions. So, for example, when we approved the car wash, we made sure that they had larger landscaping and screening for the residential areas nearby to help with that. That mitigated the impact, the visual impact on
I think we made some
neighborhoods.
alterations to the weekend hours, I think. that-
Right,
Okay,
stuff
okay.
like that. Hours are sometimes, like, if there was a liquor establishment that stayed late, but it was really near residential, you might limit their hours compared to a different one that was in a commercial district. So those are the kind of things you can consider. So one, are there standards that aren't met? And then two, are there conditions that can mitigate the impact? And it could be yes or no, depending on the individual factors of each use.
Thank you. Thanks for the education session. I appreciate it. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Commissioner Riles.
No questions or anything.
Commissioner Sprague.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have nothing this evening.
Marcy.
In case you didn't notice, Meat and Potato is open.
Oh,
I think that's the only one I know about.
That's it?
we ordered from there a couple weeks ago and went and picked up.
That's my big news.
Yeah, that's your big news? Well, a reminder that we're meeting on the 27th, and then the following week on November 3rd, because during November and December, we shift to the first and third Wednesdays. So we don't have to be here on the holidays, or too close to the holidays. Anything else? Anybody? Then how about a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
You didn't even wait for the opposed.